Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Owens, and I'm the president, the proud president of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, and I'm here to welcome you to our 2023 Philadelphia Democratic Mayoral Candidates Forum. I will be the moderator tonight. I'm proud to host this event, and we love our outstanding sponsors, which is Every Voice, Every Vote, which is an incredible grant from the Lynn Fest Institute. Please give them a round of applause. We're joined today by our incredible media partners who are also here, which includes CBS 3 Philadelphia, WURD Radio, and of course, Philadelphia Community Access Media. For those who are in, we are going to be live filming this forum. It's live streaming right now on PhillyCAM through their official YouTube channel. So for those who want to see this after tonight to see some of the hot moments that we predict will be taking place, civil, of course, please make sure that you stay tuned for that link on PhillyCAM on their YouTube channel. For those who are excited about the televised broadcast, it will air on CBS 3 on Monday at 7 p.m., this upcoming Monday at 7 p.m. So set your DVRs for that. And right now it is going to start airing broadcast on WRD Live right now. So people who are not at a TV or a laptop can also be listening from the drive from work. So we're super excited about all of our media partners. But we're super excited about our lovely, generous host of the space and the venue, which is the Museum of the American Revolution. Those lovely, delicious snacks, coffee, beverages, non-alcoholic beverages that you all enjoyed was provided in support. And I'm gonna take a moment to introduce, for some brief remarks, the president and CEO of the Museum of the American Revolution, Mr. Scott Stevenson. A round of applause.
Thank you. I am so blessed, first of all, to serve as president of the museum here. We are Philadelphia's newest cultural institution. Yesterday was just our 6th anniversary, and there have been more than 1 million people from around the world, around the nation, who have visited. And that's with that little thing we've just been through the last couple of years, so we're doing all right, I think. So the museum's mission is to uncover and share compelling stories about the diverse people and complex events that sparked America's ongoing experiment in liberty, equality, and self-government. And as you all know, that is an unfinished, incomplete journey that we are still on, approaching 250 years, a quarter millennium. And that journey depends on having an educated and civically engaged community. And so this is living history that's going on right now. I'm reflecting on the hundreds of millions of people around the world for whom what's going on tonight is a dream that they may never actually experience in their lifetimes. So you are part of history here tonight. We are very blessed to welcome you all this evening, and I just want to say welcome back to the PABJ. We first got together, had an event here before the museum even opened in 2017, and it's been a really great relationship. So thanks for all you do to lift us up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ernest.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we're at the pre-show portion of this incredible forum, which will really jumpstart around 7 p.m. But we took this time to talk about some of the formats and everything for tonight's event because it's different compared to many of the formats that have happened at some of these other forums. Now, just the raise of the hands and some murmur. Have you been or watched a previous forum before tonight? Raise your hand. Okay, so people here are, you are what we call super voters. This format is very different compared to many of those forums. We will not be doing, gotcha questions. We will not be doing the rapid questions of the yes or no, because if you've been watching the forums, some of these candidates are not going to give us a yes or a no, so why would we waste our time? This is not a debate. This is a forum. This is a discussion. We plan to have about 5 to 6 questions. We want really authentic answers. We want you all to really pour in and dive in. I've watched over 15 forums since January, studying them, and it's interesting because you see a lot of repetitiveness. So there will be no questions that have already been asked, and that's tough to find questions that have not already been asked. So we will not ask you a question that is specific like, stop and frisk, right? Because some people might say legal or illegal stop and frisk. I'm not gonna get into my politics, but we're not gonna ask that question tonight. You're not going to get the same exact question you've heard before. These are all different questions. And so it's also gonna be a variety of questions. So it will not be a bunch of questions just about crime and public safety, because we know there's other issues impacting Philadelphians, right? Especially this is a forum on Black issues. And crime is not the only thing that impacts the Black community. Would you agree? Right. We care about education, we care about poverty, we care about gentrification, we care about readiness and preparedness for the job. This is a serious forum. The next person that I believe, these are the 6 most viable candidates, someone at this table, I believe, will be the next mayor of Philadelphia. I know there's a bunch of other candidates running, but I personally believe that somebody at this table will be the next mayor of Philadelphia at this table. And so it's important that we treat this forum and give it the dignity and respect. So I'm gonna ask the audience, this is not a concert. This is a forum. And we're at a museum that has been kind enough to give us the opportunity to have this history. You know, downstairs is the Black Founders exhibit. I think about our ancestors and people who did not have the privilege to vote, to be in this room, to be in this space. And so I'm gonna ask everyone to respect this space. That when these candidates are talking, I don't want heckles, I don't want jeers. You could probably do some facial expressions. I think I've gone famous for facial expressions because they're not harmful. You know, a facial expression doesn't talk. But sounds, words do. And so I would ask you all to refrain from applause during certain segments. I love the diversity of this room. I really can't tell who you all are voting for. That feels good. Because some of these panels and these forums I've gone to, I feel like it's like a concert section where you're like, okay, they're all here for one candidate. But Black voters, as you all know, according to that incredible poll that was done by the Black Leadership PAC, 42% of Black voters, 46% of Black voters in Philadelphia are undecided. And speaking as a Black voter, it's important because too often our community, they think they know. They think identity politics, they think they know who the vote's gonna go to. But we are pragmatic voters, we're thinkers, we're listening. And the data shows right now that this is still a very open race, which is why we took it seriously to make sure that we had the reflection and diversity of the candidates in the different perspectives. We have 3 women, we have 3 men, we have people from different backgrounds, levels of experience, and that was very important to us with this forum. So when these candidates are speaking, please give them respect. Do not clap over them. Do not heckle and jeer. You might have opinions. Keep them in your head. Express them with your face. The camera can't see it. But they can hear, right? We have videos and cameras, so we don't want the noise. We don't want it. You're gonna clap at the beginning, you're gonna clap at the end. And you can clap right now. Agreement? Okay. Now that we've got that out the way, to the candidates, because this audience seems like they know how to act. This is a well-behaved, mature audience. Members of the press, members of the nonprofit space, they're respectful. So, candidates, keep it brief. Don't be too short, but don't be too long. As the moderator, it's my job to make sure that I make sure everyone gets a chance to speak, because again, every voice, every vote. So, we want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to talk. The way the format will be is that these esteemed panelists, give them a round of applause before I introduce them. They represent some of the best in media. CBS anchor Ukee Washington, or in my opinion, the legend, the GOAT. Archbishop Mary Floyd Palmer, Bishop. You know, we had to have some good clergy, okay? I grew up Pentecostal, Kojic. We also have an incredible Gen Zer, because I believe in, as a millennial, I saw forums and I didn't see people from my generation. People at this panel represent various age groups. They don't look it, but they do. and they represent various groups and communities. And it was very important to me that as someone that is 31 years old, that I wanted to see someone that reflected the next generation. Too many people are talking about young people without talking to young people or talking with young people. And so it's very important to me that, you know, my mentee and someone who has been a columnist in his own right, Jemille Duncan at the Philadelphia Citizen, 19 years old. It was very important because, you know, 4 years ago, they would have never allowed me to sit on a stage like this. And I said if I had the opportunity to do it, I would do it. So I'm pretty happy to be here. So yes, will be asking his question because all votes matter and all voters matter. And last but not least, my esteemed Vice President of Print and also the News Director and Program Director for WURD Radio, Ms. Jamyra Perry. These panelists are journalists, okay? They represent media, broadcast, print, digital, radio. We brought them all here. And it was important that the questions that they did, these are their questions. I didn't dictate it, stations didn't dictate it, this came from them. This is driven by their reporting, their research, their observations. So the questions that they're asking tonight, they put a lot of thought into it. And so when they ask you these questions, how it will work in this format is that each question that they ask will be directed to two of the candidates, not at the same time, but two of you all. So we'll start with the two of you all, and then we will allow any feedback or addition from the other four candidates. So for example, Ukee might have a question for Helen Gim and Amin Brown. They will first start off by answering the question, and then we will allow the rest of the four to chime in and add. Now, we know what it means to chime in, right? It means this person talked for 60 seconds. You're not talking for 3 minutes. Like, you chiming in. And no piggybacking. If you just piggybacking, just pass them respectfully, right? Well, I just want to piggyback. Well, we already know what they said. We got to make sure we respect the formatting. So I want to make sure I let people know that. We will definitely have very good questions that will be substantive. There will be from a variety of issues and topics, so please feel free. To those who are watching right now from PhillyCAM, the hashtag is hashtag PABJ Mayoral Forum. So people who are live tweeting, I hope none of you all are, because we would love for your phones to be on silent or off. Because if I hear a phone, so please make sure that your phones are on silent. I don't want to hear vibrate. You see these seats. Listen, phones off, phones on silent. It's only going to be an hour and some change. You're in the room where everyone wants to be. If you check your phone right now, they're probably texting you like, can you believe this? I know, I'm here live. They're like, girl, did you hear what so-and-so said? Any one of you, no particular person. You're here. Be in the moment. Engage. Listen to what they're saying. And candidates, I want you all to engage. No shade, but if this is how you're going to be at the forum. So yes, my answer is going to be about, there's a camera, there's 2 cameras. Utilize those cameras and make sure that you actually take the time to actually look at the audience, because you're talking to Philadelphia tonight. You're talking to Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is not a piece of paper. Philadelphia is these voters that's right here tonight. Philadelphia is all of those different groups, and so we want to make sure that we are mindful that we're coming to be candid and we're coming to engage. So make sure that as much as possible, you're talking to the audience, you're engaging Philadelphians, and you don't sound like you're reading off a script. Because one thing about the voters here, you all can tell when someone's reading off the script, correct? Mm-hmm. You can nod and say, you can do that. That's fine. Tonight, right now, not during the forum. I mean, you know. So, we are at the pre-show portion, and I think we have enough time, that I want to start off simply with opening remarks, keep them to about a minute, and just simply introduce yourself to Philadelphians. Maybe reintroduce yourself. Maybe there's some new things about you that we're going to find out that you hadn't told people before. It's up to you, but we'll start in alphabetical order, and then we'll see where time permits before we get to 7 o'clock, where it'll be a round of questions, and Ukee will start us off, and we'll get into it. So let's start with you, State Representative Amin Brown.
Well, thank you, Ernest. I really appreciate this opportunity. Hello, everyone. I'm State Representative Amin Brown, And I'm running for mayor because each and every thing that I've been through in life has prepared me for this moment. From being shot as a child, from experiencing what it's like to be on State Road, from experiencing food insecurities, knowing what it's like to live in a home where you don't know what the next day is going to be like, praying that it doesn't rain because of the conditions of your home, only going to school to depend on a guaranteed meal and heat in the winters. So I'm running for mayor to change that because I took the hits for each and every Philadelphian who has a life like mine. So I know firsthand what it's like, and I know firsthand what's needed for our city. So thank you.
Hold your applause until the end, people. Now, Jeff Brown.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Brown. I'm running for mayor because after being here for 69 years, I think we're in a crisis at a level I haven't seen before. And I know what we normally do. We normally take a legislator like a city council person and we promote him to mayor. But I can't imagine the circumstances in which the people that had responsibility of this city let it get to this kind of stage that would be a good choice for us. And so I think we need change. I think we could use an outside perspective, someone who has accomplished big things in other arenas. And if you look at my record, when no one thought it was possible to solve food deserts, we solved them. We hired 60,000 people in the local communities, often a lot of people's very first job, including thousands of returning citizens, that no one thought they could be successful, even though they've been 98% successful with us. And we help small businesses, especially black and brown businesses, 300 or 400 of them. And you know, the success and to watch them, it's the American dream. That's what I want for everyone. I want us to be together. I don't want us to be separated. And I want us to experience the American dream together. That's what I'm here to do.
All right now, Alan Dom.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. And thank you to the Black Journalists Association for inviting me here tonight. And I'm glad that we're bringing these issues forward. And look, my name's Alan Dom. I'm running for mayor because this is a turning point election for the city of Philadelphia. This next election will determine the future of our city in a big way. And in my life, I've had a different experience, and so I come from a different viewpoint. I've served almost 7 years in government and 40 years in the private sector, and my goal is to get things done. For example, fixing our public safety issue, creating more opportunity to take people out of poverty, investing in education, and providing the basic city services that we all know you should be receiving. So I look forward to tonight's discussion. I'm honored to be here, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Helen Gim.
Thank you and good evening, everybody. I'm running for mayor because Philadelphia needs a transformative vision right now. While other candidates may be looking for an office, I'm actually running to try to change the way people live in this city. I have a 20-year track record of actually standing with communities and delivering big solutions that have tried to fix our schools, that have built stronger families and young people, and have taken on the status quo politics that have held Philadelphia back for too long. I know that safe cities invest in people. Safe neighborhoods are those that are clean and vibrant. Safe youth are those who are educated and supported year-round. And safe neighbors are those who know that housing, healthcare, and real economic opportunity are a right, and that's what I'm going to deliver. A real plan to fix and modernize our public school system. A guaranteed jobs, a jobs program for youth and young adults in the hardest hit neighborhoods, and an equity-driven city services vision that transforms neighborhoods across the city with real investments that keep neighborhoods vibrant and invest in long-term wealth. I know that we need to see something really change and not have just a manager tinkering around the edges with ideas that are too small for this moment. And I look forward to having that conversation with everybody.
All right. Sherelle Parker.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sherelle Parker, and I have lived my life at the intersection of race and gender for a lifetime in our great city. My real lived life experience is closest to the people who are feeling the most pain in this city. Because of the strong village that I am a product of, being raised by grandparents and coming from humble beginnings, I have lived what is Philadelphia's most challenging problem, and that is poverty. It is because of that, along with my intergovernmental experience, that I am uniquely situated to solve, not audit or write a report about or give a speech about, but solve the complex challenges facing the great city. We will make it safer, we will make it cleaner, and we will make sure that there is economic opportunity for all, and we will strengthen our human infrastructure while getting it done. Thank you.
And last but not least, Rebecca Reinhardt.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Reinhardt, and I'm running for mayor because I believe that I'm the right person to lead our city forward in this critical moment. I know the city's budget inside and out from being the budget director for 5 years. I've managed 1,000 employees as the chief administrative officer of the city and gotten things done. And I know the city's operational issues from my work as city controller. And as controller, I put forth thoughtful solutions and recommendations to move our city forward. But that is where the power of my office ended. As mayor, I can and will make that change happen. Because the city of Philadelphia is a complicated entity. It has a $6 billion budget. It has 25,000 employees. I've managed within the city organization. I've maneuvered in city politics. I can hit the ground running on day one to fix the city's issues, to make it safer and cleaner, and create opportunity for everyone in all of our neighborhoods.
Thank you. So give them a round of applause. Yes, so before I begin, please for the audience, this is a note. When this is over, after you say goodbye, please ask everyone, I'm gonna ask you all to remain in your seats. So it's important for this because Ukee will need to shoot a stand-up close from the back of the room while everyone is in place. So there's gonna be a crowd shot. So when this is over, do not leave until we tell you to leave because we wanna have that crowd shot. Because there's certain events where people say they have larger crowds than they really do. This is a large crowd. So we're gonna make sure that we do that crowd shot at the end. So please stay in your seats until we tell you all to exit. Got it? Cool. So quickly, because we wanna be able to mic test everyone, one question is in one word and one sentence. Okay, so I'm gonna ask, what is the one strong trait that you think you bring to the table that's better than all of your other candidates? And then you're gonna give a reason why in one sentence, because we're getting close to that mark. So I'm gonna do reverse order. Rebecca Reinhardt.
I have courage to stand up to the status quo and to the establishment. My record as city controller speaks for that.
All right now, Sherelle Parker.
Actionable. I am not a talker. I am a get-it-done official. I am a get-it-done official.
All right. Kept it at a sentence, thank you. We're practicing early. This is the we're gonna watch it. All right. Helen Gim.
I'm relentless. I believe in the things that have to get done, and I won't quit until we make sure that people get what they need and deserve.
Long sentence, but I appreciate it. Alan Dom.
Thank you. Leadership. My whole life I've been a leader, and that's the key for me is leadership.
Got you. Jeff Brown.
Problem solver. My whole life, I've taken on very difficult challenges and figured out a way to get them done.
And then Amin Brown.
I would say youthfulness. I'm young enough to understand what's going on in our streets today. I'm connected to the young people, and I listen to them, and I understand them. Thank you.
All right. Like how people had that little semicolon in the sentence where they did the, The writer in me is like, that's a semicolon, that's a little slash. Then they want to do more, then dot, 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 then some. Crafty. So as we get to it, I'm going to give an opportunity for our esteemed panelists to just briefly introduce yourselves. I mean, you all need no introduction, but briefly tell people who you are and what you look forward to coming out of this debate. What is your expectations and goals? Because intentions do matter. This is a very intentional space. This is important. So I'll start with you, Ukee.
I am Ukee Washington. Ulysses Samuel Washington III is my given name, but let's keep that right here in the museum. But I'm looking forward to getting my city back, the city I grew up in. This is very, very important to me and to our city, and I want our candidates today to talk to the camera, but I also want them, as EO said, to talk to the people. It's all about the people. I'm the only one that calls you.
You
right.
call me Yo.
Okay.
Nobody else. Don't do that.
But to talk to the people, and let's get our city back. There's so many people that I talk to that are my age that say it's not like it used to be. It's not like it used to be. And we want to get it not only back the way it used to be, but we want to make it even better, to make our city a better place to live, work, and play. And hopefully, one of these beautiful people up front will make that happen. And I also want to know if all of you, if you do not become the mayor of this great city, will you support the person who does in order to make this a better place to live, work, and play?
So before we get into that, is the nod, would you support the next person in the efforts? Everybody saying yes? Sherelle, you seem a little reserved there.
Ernest, you have to learn how to read my multiple expressions. You talked about using facial expressions, and I'm all in.
You all in?
All in.
All right, she said she all in. Everybody all in?
Absolutely.
Let me see, you all in, Alma?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody? Jeff? All right.
I'm getting a cue that we have to test everyone's mic
cool.
real quick. Let's go right down the line.
Yes. Bishop Mary.
Testing 1. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
A little more. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you all hear me?
Sherelle Parker, 1, 2, 3. Helen Getty, 1, 2, 3.
I don't want to compete on this. Jeff Brown. 5, 6, 7, 8.
We need more from the panel to double check the mic.
Sure. 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Girls High in the making.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
For continued introductions, or we're getting close?
Yeah, go ahead. We start with Bishop Mary.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Archbishop Mary Floyd Palmer. I'm the presiding bishop of the Philadelphia Council of Clergy and overseer of Heavenly Hall Church in West Philadelphia. However, tonight I'm serving as host of the Bishop Mary Show from WWDB-AM. I'm excited to be here, and I ditto everything that Ukee said.
I'm Jemille Duncan. I'm glad to be here. I'm a columnist at the Philadelphia Citizen, and though I'm not here in this capacity, I also work in City Hall as Senior Policy Advisor to Councilmember Phillips. What I am interested in hearing from the candidates is how you all will address issues that are very prevalent amongst the youth.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jamyra Perry. I'm the News and Program Director for WURD, Vice President of Print for PABJ, and I'm here tonight, and I really want to hear from the candidates. We have a lot of Black undecided voters. What are you going to do tonight and going forward to change their minds?
Are you already out here? We're getting ready to go live. Again. It's gonna be lit. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Are y'all excited? I feel like we gotta, are y'all excited? Yeah. All right. This is great. Ukee's getting in position. All right. All right.
About a minute out.
30 out.
Tonight, we are coming to you from the Museum of the American Revolution in the birthplace of our nation. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ukee, Washington. We are here to discuss the issues and concerns facing Philadelphia voters as we are now just 3 weeks away from the primary election. I'm joined by members of the local media who have been tirelessly covering the race for mayor. Archbishop Mary Floyd Palmer of WWDB-AM, Philadelphia citizen columnist Jemille Q. Duncan, WURD radio program and news director Jamyra Perry, and our moderator, editor-at-large for Philadelphia Magazine and president of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, Ernest Owens.
Thank you, Ukee. This is not a debate, it's a forum, a conversation, and we invite the candidates here to discuss the issues impacting the local Black community. Each panelist will ask a question, initially addressed to 2 candidates. Once they answer, the other candidates will then be asked to join the conversation. Before I turn it over to the panel, I would like to begin the questioning. Surprise. This is for Jeff Brown and Helen Gim. The role of campaign contributions, known as dark money, has left voters with more questions than answers. How do you ensure voters that you won't be bought by millionaires and special interest groups? Jeff, we'll start with you.
Well, I won't be bought. And most of the money in my campaign comes from my wife and I. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, I appreciate contributions. It doesn't change my mind. I've been as clear as I could be about what I plan to do. And, you know, I don't particularly love the election laws. I mean, I don't like the Citizens United's case that made way for super PACs. But in this campaign, many of the candidates were likely to have them. And if you're going to be competitive, you're going to communicate with voters, you have to have a competitive strategy. And so we did what we thought we had to do to be competitive. And I don't think, being that I don't know most of the people that contribute, or I don't know at least quite a bit of the people that contributed, it couldn't possibly affect my thinking.
All right. Helen.
I've run a people-led grassroots movement campaign for every single election that I've had. I'm proud to be one of the people, the only person on this stage that has had the largest number of Philadelphia donors, the largest number of people who represent every single zip code in the city of Philadelphia, someone who has led with small dollar donations time and time again. This is about people who actually believe in a candidate whom they've seen and believed in for more than 20 years. I'm not new to the campaign trail. I've been doing this work for years in our schools, in the trenches, where people have been visible and seeing me. And I think that that's absolutely reflected in our campaign work. I think that's absolutely reflected in the delivery of things that I've been able to do, including clean water in every school, the nation's most expansive labor rights laws, and in our work in being able to build the successful eviction prevention program in the country that's kept people housed. We've taken on status quo interests. I've defended and supported the people's movement, and we've helped change the city.
Thank you. Amir Brown, with the least amount of money in the campaign, what do you think about the use of dark money in the race?
I honestly believe money is not going to win this election. This election is about the people, and our campaign is powered by real people with real problems and who want real change. You know, so when people say the least amount of money, we got the most amount of people, and we're moving forward, and you know, we feel real good. You know, we're pounding the pavement, we're touching the flesh, and we're on the ground with the people, and they're excited and they're fired up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rebecca, how do you feel about the use of dark money in this race? And do you think that certain candidates should disclose the names of the donors who are receiving this money?
I think donors absolutely should be disclosed. I mean, Jeff mentioned his own campaign, but he has many contributions coming into his super PAC. He's under investigation by the Board of Ethics. I think how you run a campaign is a microcosm in how you run the city. So if your campaign is a mess, you'll run the city like a mess. So I also want to say that how you fundraise is also indicative to your strength on the ground. 78% of my donors live in Philly. 51% have given $100 or less. So I'm building a grassroots movement here in Philly to take Philly back and to fix our city for the people here in our city.
And Sherelle, as another candidate who has been transparent about your donors in super PACs, how do you feel about this topic around dark money in the race?
Listen, when you come from humble beginnings like I do, you learn that you have to color within the lines and play by the rules. And based on where you are in life, for some folks, they feel like they don't have to play by the rules. I do want to correct the record, though. I am Philadelphia born, raised, and bred, and my campaign finance report reflects that. It has been reported on numerous occasions during different times in the campaign that I have reported the most contributions from people who are from Philadelphia, and that's because I'm Philly proud. And for Philadelphians from all walks of life, every race, class, zip code, and geographic location, to think enough of me to make an investment in our goal to make Philadelphia the safest, cleanest, and greenest big city in the nation with access to economic opportunity for all, it shows that I'm going to be a unifier. And to bring hope and pride back to our city right now, that's what we need.
Rebecca, I believe that Sherelle was referring to your statistic, around 78% of your donors. Would you like to challenge that?
I don't believe she was, but if she was, that my numbers are my numbers.
So she says that she has the most
I was
Philadelphia
just giving,
donors.
I was giving the statistics of I have 78% from Philadelphia. That's just a factual fact.
What percentage is yours, Sherelle?
We right now, the last time we reported, we were at 69%. So for anyone to affirm during a particular reporting period, there are multiple reporting periods. You should affirm during what time. So when you make the comment that you have the most Philadelphia-based contributors to your campaign, you just can't say things over and over to make them true.
So are you directing that to Amir Brown?
No, not at all. I think Ms. Gim should be accountable for noting that she has the most Philadelphia donors. If you state that, tell us where is the data source.
Yes. So our data source is very clear. It's based on the fact that we count all of our donors who give below $50 who are unitemized contributions. And so we keep close track, and I'm, again, very proud to have a huge number of donors, more than 2,500 donors. It's not even just the percentages that we have, but we have the largest number of donors who've actually come from Philadelphia as well.
Alan, as someone who I guess we know where your money's coming from, a lot of it is from you. So we have no question there. You're a Philadelphian. So tell us about how does it feel and about this dark money conversation, and given that most of your money is your money, what are your talk on this whole conversation?
Yeah, definitely my money is right out there in the open. There's no dark money there. But, you know, I will just share with this, Ernest, that I grew up with Depression-age parents who actually taught me that I should wash plastic utensils and reuse them. This is how I was brought up. So investing in this race for me is really important. I came here with zero in '76, making $15,000 a year. This city was amazingly great to me, amazingly great. And all I want to do is give back to the city I love. I'm not beholden to anyone except everyone in this audience and everyone in this city. That's who I serve. And I'll be able to make the decisions whether they're right for today or for 10 years from now. Because it doesn't matter to me. I'm hoping to get elected, but whether I get reelected or not isn't as important as getting elected and making serious change.
Thank you. So let's go to Ukee now for the first question from our panel.
Ernest, thank you very much. And good evening, family, and thank you all. Thank you all for being here. I started with the word family, and candidates, as you know, especially in the black community, families are heartbroken when it comes to gun violence and safety in general for all. I'm talking about the families of the souls that we have lost. So I'm referring to the families of those committing the crimes, as their lives and their families' lives are destroyed also. 3 or 4 nights a week, my colleagues and I report on horrific stories. It hurts. I'm tired. I'm tired of telling them. The community is tired of hearing them. The concern and the fear is very, very real. For our young people, we want futures, not funerals. If you are elected as this city's 100th mayor, what are your specific plans, your gun violence directives toward eventual solutions on day one? What is your blueprint for change? And why do you think your plan will work? It's happening everywhere in our country, and tonight, though, we want to take care of home. We want to take care of home. In 2 minutes or less, take us deeper. Talk to the people. Helen Gim, good evening. What's your plan?
Well, thank you very much, Ukee. And I'm very clear that the violence in our city is rooted in disinvestment. And if that is the case, then the safety of our people have to be rooted in investments. To be clear, on day one, I've said that I would establish a state of emergency that would bring in all communities, all relevant agencies, including not only all levels of law enforcement, but our public health, our school district, SEPTA, and many other actors to come together to have an all hands on deck effort for a coordinated mission on public safety that primarily starts with ensuring that we overhaul our police department so we put more people on the ground. I'm not talking about hiring more officers when we have 1,300 vacancies. I want to promote detectives so we can actually solve crimes and reduce caseloads. I want to make sure that we deploy more officers out onto foot and local patrol. But I also want to make sure that we have better crisis response. That includes the fact that I help pilot a non-police mobile mental health crisis unit to make sure that we take 911 calls out of homelessness and addiction and put them with trained individuals. We're going to support victims of violence with long-term housing and health care, fast and free crime scene cleanup, and the creation of a funeral fund as well. But my longer-term investments are around actually investing in communities and people, and that's why I've talked a lot about the importance of a guaranteed jobs plan for individuals and in neighborhoods that are most impacted by violence, and a real delivery of city services that transforms neighborhoods.
Thank you. Ahmed Brown, you were shot as a teenager. What's your plan?
So I have a different perspective when it comes to solving this gun violence problem, because trauma is real, and still having the bullet lodged in between my ribs, I deserve a seat at the table to solve this problem. The memory of riding in the back of an ambulance, knowing what victims and survivors and families experience, getting your clothes cut off while you're in the back of an ambulance so they can try to save your life. So every single day when you guys report a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, that was me. The mother screaming, "Please save my baby," that's my family. So my approach is going to be different. It's going to be fair and balanced. We're going to be creative. We're going to ban ski mask. day one. We're going to address these open bench warrants for the repeat violent offenders because they're running our streets with ski masks on, terrorizing each and every one of us. We're living in fear, and we should not live this way. And as your mayor, I will make those tough decisions to hold people accountable, hold administrations accountable, whether it's the DA's office, the police department, because we must do better at supporting victims. Yes, thank you.
There was a reference from Helen about not increasing officers because of the vacancies. I think she's talking about your plan around increasing police by 300. You want to respond to that?
Definitely. I have been unapologetic about ensuring that Philadelphia not governed using slogans. I don't care where you are in the city. There is no one who is going to tell me that I don't have a right to have criminal justice reform and zero tolerance for any misuse and/or abuse of authority by law enforcement without having those 300 officers specifically engaged in what I reference as community policing. And let me just make it plain. These are officers who are not sitting in cars. They are walking our streets. They are riding bikes in our neighborhood. They know Miss Johnson and Mr. Brown. They can call them by name and they can answer questions directly because they have their numbers. I want them not specifically directed to the 57 blocks that the most crime was occurring. That's now about 78 blocks in the city. But I want that across the city of Philadelphia, and that is 300 additional because we do not want our full complement to fully be deployed this way. The full complement, I want on Operation Pinpoint. I want on GVI. I want all of the policing strategies that we are employing to get rid of this open-air drug market thriving in Kensington and the safe injection sites that folks are advocating for, that Philadelphians have to say. You have to answer that question and say whether or not you're for or against.
Thank you. Rebecca, you have done auditing around policing and these topics, especially with the commissions that you had while you were the city controller. What's your take on some of the things that have been addressed, and what is your idea around addressing crime in the city?
I think we need to address both the short-term and the long-term issues and solutions around gun violence. So long-term is, of course, fixing the lack of opportunity, so the education system and job opportunity, but safety can't wait for that to happen. So in the short term, I plan to coordinate the city departmental response through the Emergency Operations Center. That's police, that's streets, for lighting, that's all the departments on day one. I also plan to use the specific intervention strategies that have been shown to work in other cities: cognitive behavior therapy, group violence intervention. These are strategies that work. And also pull the DA and the police commissioner into the room. That's the mayor's job, and say we need to get on the same page to tackle illegal guns. You know, the police have doubled the number of arrests for illegal carry, while the DA's conviction rate has gone down from 65 to 42%. I'll pull them into the room and say we need to get on the same page and get the guns off the streets. Thank you.
Jeff Brown, I walked at times some 10 to 12 blocks from the Lee School to my home at 57th and Addison. Carefree. Kids today, many of them, if they do walk, they're walking with their heads on a swivel, out of fear. What's your plan?
Ukee, let me start out that in my career, 35 years, I hired 60,000 people from the neighborhoods and created a path for them, a hand out of poverty. Thousands returning citizens. The recidivism prior to our work was very, very high, and those are people that reoffend. The people that we helped, 98% did not reoffend and change their lives. That's real experience. What you're hearing at the table are ideas that they never did when they had power. It's great to hear them now. Why didn't they do it when they were city council people? Our plans are the plans that make sense, and let me start out by saying every police organization in this city, the local police, the Temple Police, the Penn Police, the SEPTA Police, the Guardian Civic League, the black police officers, every single one endorsed me, and they all told me that they were all unanimous. They don't have confidence in the management of any other person on this dais.
Alan Dunn.
While I was on council, Ukee, I actually did something that Governor Rendell suggested I do back in 2015, and that was to do the work and give out the credit. So in August of 21, I organized, because I saw that our council president and others went to Chester to talk about the crime situation there. So I organized the public safety cabinet myself. I did not keep it in the public eye. I kept it under the radar. I had the DA there, U.S. Attorney, Attorney General's office, FBI, ATF. We had a few meetings with courts. We had 8 or 9 meetings, and it concluded when I left council. But I would engage on day one this public safety cabinet with those people plus Eds and Med security like Temple and others, plus the courts. I would have the meetings myself on a weekly basis, whether they're an hour or 6 hours.
Thank you. The next question is from Bishop Mary Floyd Palmer of WWDB.
Good evening, panel. Thank you so much for being here on this evening. The land bank process to acquire city-owned property takes on an average of 7 to 9 months, even up to a year. Despite the housing crisis, this is backlogged and takes too long for people who really need to be covered. What can you do specifically as mayor to decrease this timeline so that affordable housing projects can be expedited in safety and meet this great demand? My question is directed to Ms. Parker first.
Thank you. Everything about my candidacy for mayor is about putting people on a path to self-sufficiency and getting them off of the poverty hamster wheel. If you want to see a reduction in violence in the city of Philadelphia, put people on the path to self-sufficiency and you will see a sense of dignity that you've never seen before. Like in home ownership, people wondered why I don't put my fists in the air when we did something good, and I think it was great. I believe in housing as a human right to provide support for renters. It was something we should have done, but it's not the pinnacle that reigns supreme. The pinnacle is you're owning a home that you can build equity in and use to build generational wealth in your family. So imagine every piece of vacant land owned by the city in the land bank being built and towards a goal of 30,000 affordable units in the city of Philadelphia, that students in our school district of Philadelphia are being trained by skilled workers from the building trades to build those houses. And guess what? They're not tiny houses that some have proffered as a solution for homelessness or the opioid crisis. They're mixed use. They're also not high-rise buildings or homes that are concentrated with people who are low to moderate income people. See, when you grow up in poverty, we call those high-rises in projects, and we know that they don't work, because whenever you concentrate poor people together, everything around them is poor, every amenity. So I want the Westra model that you see off of Ridge Avenue, $1 million house, $500,000 houses. Then there's some row homes that are public housing, and you would never know it because the quality of the community reeks of pride there. That's what we will do, and every black developer will get access to equity. And when I say equity, I'm not talking about a loan.
Thank you, Sherelle.
Private equity.
Thank you. Rebecca?
Well, you asked.
So the land bank taking 7 to 9 months or even a year to get a property through it is a major issue. And often in the city, the departments are very siloed. So there's many different entities involved with the land bank and land disposition. It gets stuck in between them. There's months of time. As Chief Administrative Officer in 2016, I worked with the African American Chamber of Commerce to identify pain points for small black-owned businesses to do business with the city. And one of them was how long it took to get paid, 150 days. So what I did was pulled all the city departments together that were all part of the problem and worked with these city departments to shorten that length of time for payment. I bring this up because this is the same type of issue that goes on in all types of processes in city government, including the land bank. As mayor, I will bring the departments and the agencies together and say, what are the pain points in this process? Why is it taking so long? And we have to make this faster because we have people that need affordable housing. We own 8,500 city-owned vacant lots and properties. We need to put those into use. So absolutely, there is a way to fix it, and I will do that as mayor.
Thank you. Alan Dom, many people call you the condo king. What do you think about this?
I don't call myself that, though.
You don't call yourself that? Never?
So, never have, no.
All right.
Okay. So I just wanted to comment for a moment on Ukee's first question on crime. What we're missing here is a mayor who is a leader and can bring people together to solve the problems. And that's what I was talking about with the public safety cabinet. You need to bring people together around the table. On this issue, and this idea came from Jennifer Rodriguez from the Hispanic Chamber. I want to give her credit for that. She said to me, we need an application tracker in the city that could tell people the status of all their projects, the status every 2 weeks of what's going on. And then we need to look at all of our services we provide and put time frames on them. It's unacceptable not to have a time frame to open a restaurant in 60 days, to get a zoning change in 90 days. We should have time frames on everything. And I learned this lesson in council. When we did the outdoor dining, we put a requirement that the city had to approve every application in 3 days. 862 applications were approved in 3 days to the city's credit, so it can be done.
All right, we're going to go to Amin as a state rep, because you're not, there was references about city council, but you're in Harrisburg. What is your take on this?
Yes. So we have a serious housing shortage. So we need to deal with the housing specialists in our city. And that is currently right now PHA. And they're currently operating off of a $400 million budget. 93% of that budget comes from the federal government, 6% comes from rents, and 1% comes from city grants. And of that $400 million, roughly 80% of it goes toward upkeep, maintenance, staff, and overhead, things in that nature. So our plan includes giving a minimum of the first year in our city budget, $100 million to PHA to build on this 8,500 lots. Might I add, building union. PHA is doing a fantastic job over there on Ridge Avenue. They are transforming that community. So that's what our plan is, $100 million the first year and $50 million a year moving forward to build, to end this housing shortage.
Thank you. And now to the other Brown, Jeff Brown. What do you think about this?
Well, to start out with, what we're doing with real estate taxes, we're forcing people out of their homes. It's ruthless. Some people have 100% increases in real estate taxes in a given year, and this city doesn't have constraint. There needs to be a cap, like a 5% cap. And we need to have an advocate for lower income individuals to fight for them to reduce their real estate taxes or save them from sheriff's sale. The second thing is other people talked about the land bank. These guys, they're in city council. They were in charge of the land bank. The city council invented the land bank. Land goes in, nothing goes out. Some of the most blighted properties in our city are city-owned properties. That land bank should be closed down, and all of those, I think it's 8,800 properties, all that could be used for affordable housing should be sold to black and brown developers so they could build their development business over and enter in a long-term arrangement for affordable housing. And the third thing is we do need to invest in large-scale affordable housing projects.
All right, Helen, I saw you were shaking your head there profusely. Why?
Yes, because, Mr. Brown, you don't have an understanding of actually how we direct a real city-led vision for affordability in an environment in which market forces destroy black and brown communities, because this is pie in the sky to think that the market will just fix everything for us and that you'll turn it over. The land bank has a vision, and it should be executed, and it should have been better. I personally believe the first thing I would start off with is an extraordinary amount of transparency. Where is the land? How do you apply? How do we move it through? Who's got applications in? And I do believe that shining the light of day on how we actually move properties is going to help us reform. It's an area that nobody understands right now. Second, a mayor must lead a citywide vision for affordable housing. And again, because this conversation came up, Ukee, It is not just about a memory of the past, a distant past that isn't in existence right now. We have a new, different population of people who are moving and diversifying through Philadelphia. We need mandatory inclusion, which shouldn't be blocked by city council members. We need diversification. It's not just single-family homes anymore in a city where 400,000 people live below the poverty line, and the average rent could be close to $1,600 a month. We have to have our land used for permanent affordability. It needs to be directed in partnership with lots of different actors who can help support this, and it absolutely should be mixed income. It's not concentrating levels of poverty. We don't do that anymore, and we shouldn't talk about the fact that we do that anymore. We have a new vision of a city to build, a place where people see opportunity at all different levels and aren't shamed about whether they're renters or they can't afford a certain type of property, but we are moving towards home ownership. That's what cities have to do. 8,500 vacant lots under city control. We should diversify, but we have to lead with a bigger vision of where Philadelphia can go so all of us can see ourselves in a place called home.
Thank you, Helen. Quickly, Jeff, she was addressing you when she said you didn't know what you were doing. Quickly respond to that.
Yeah, Helen
Please
is
refrain
the
from your, thank you. Go
Helen
ahead, Jeff.
is the least informed person on this stage. She knows nothing about the free market. She knows nothing about real estate. She's never built anything in her life. And this is what politicians do.
Many different things in my life, Jeff, and that's also
This
a very
is what,
sexist
hold it,
statement.
you can talk when
Helen,
it's your turn.
Helen, I'm letting Jeff respond first. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
this
Jeff.
is what politicians do. They make stuff up, and she's the queen of making stuff up.
Okay, Helen, quickly. He said you're making stuff up. What's up?
I personally think that Jeff Brown sounds like an angry man right now, and if that's the way he's going to talk to a woman who's on stage who has built a 20-year career of building schools, of helping fix other things, and delivering housing for hundreds of thousands of people here in the city of Philadelphia, that's why you're not qualified for mayor. You have no respect for women. You have no respect for people who have a different vision from you, and you will not be able to be mayor of a city that demands people to be seen and heard from many different levels of this world.
All right, Sherelle, what you think about this? I see your facial expression.
I'm
What you think
telling
about
you,
this?
I'm bursting.
Briefly.
Philadelphia, don't simply listen to what people say. Watch what they do. And some folks don't even know what they don't know. You can't have a 5% cap on an increase in property taxes here in the city of Philadelphia without changing something called the Uniformity Clause. It requires a constitutional amendment and passage through the Pennsylvania General Assembly. But the idea that I could get Philadelphians in a room and say, I think your property taxes should be capped at 5%, what great round of applause I'll get. But it's not real. So don't listen to what people say. When you don't know, just say you don't know what you don't know.
All right. Audience, we want to refrain from applause. Jemille Q. Duncan of Philadelphia Citizen has the next question. Brace yourselves.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here. The Inquirer recently ran a headline asking, where is a Philadelphia teenager supposed to hang out? That question is apropos because many people in this city who are my age are forming flash mobs and looting stores for recreation. We condemn that behavior rightfully, but we do so without providing an alternative for young people to hang out productively and gather. Jeff Brown, what would you do about this as mayor?
So we have to fund the things that we've done long ago, like rec centers with actual programming, lifeguards and pools. Philadelphia Youth Network that I chaired for a very long time, and we helped 200,000 young people get their first internship, never had more than half the funding. I mean, 19,000 children wanted to learn to work, and we funded 9,000 of them, or 9,500. We always didn't invest in children, and we've invested less and less. And now we end ourselves in a situation with violence. It's of our own making.
Thank you. Sherelle Parker?
Listen, one of the things we have to do is deliver public education differently. We're acting like all of our kids are going to Martha's Vineyard, the Shore, and Disney World during the summer. We need access to year-round public school. Schools should be open as early as 7:30 in the morning and closing no later or no earlier than 6:30 p.m. in the evening. And we should not be saying that we're going to enact or we must enact a 2 o'clock in the afternoon curfew for young people. I went to school school at the Parkway Program High School at 11th and Market. If they had a 2 p.m. curfew, I would have never been able to get to the Painted Bride, for example, for some of the spoken word classes that I had. We have to do things differently. Every industry growing in the city of Philadelphia, from trades to life sciences and biotech, to every employment opportunity and career available in the city of Philadelphia, police, fire, we should be training within the school district of Philadelphia, using the Community College of Philadelphia. And this is a part people don't talk about. It's prevention, it's intervention, and then there's enforcement. But don't forget about the human infrastructure. That's what people like Sherelle Parker, who didn't grow up in the Leave It to Beaver Cosby-like family, that's what I had to depend on at the Recreation Center. The Oak Lane Wildcats, the Philadelphia Flames. We need to support those organizations because they connect with our young people who, for example, are children who have parents who are incarcerated. There are children who are products of kinship care. And I would know these things not because I read a white paper or commissioned somebody to do an audit or wrote a report. I know it because I lived it, and it's possible to overcome it. We just need to not think we're going to save people and keep them on a poverty hamster wheel, needing the welfare that my grandmother received and the food stamps to take care of me. Instead, I'm going to teach them kind of fish lady, and I want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to take care of themselves. That's how we do it.
Thank you. Almond Brown, as the youngest candidate running for mayor in this race, what is your thoughts about this?
Yeah, so I'm 35 years old, and you're right, I'm the youngest candidate for mayor. I started out working in after-school programs and summer camps, and that wasn't that long ago. And I can honestly tell you, children weren't dying when we had access to extended hours in our schools. I ran a program called the Beacon Program, and we opened our schools for the parents and the entire family for computer labs, gym, arts and crafts, things in that nature, job training, resume building, and the whole nine. We need those things back. But you wouldn't know what worked if you weren't a part of it. And families all across West Philadelphia depended on programs like that. And as your mayor, we would guarantee that we will bring back programs like that. And I have to say this. Yes, we have to invest in our rec centers, but when the last time you've been to a rec center in West Philadelphia? You can't even fit 10 kids in them. We have to knock them down and make them larger. So not just what they say, putting lipstick on a pig. They renovated Mill Creek Rec Center. They painted it and put new windows and said, here you go. We need to expand, make our facilities larger, and bring the technology into 21st century so our children can be competitive in the future with their peers. Thank you.
Rebecca, what do you have to say about this?
I think we need to increase funding into rec programming, library hours, making sure swimming pools are open Memorial Day to Labor Day in the neighborhoods that have been long neglected. We need to look at services through a lens of equity to truly give our kids something to do. My daughter is in 7th grade in the public school system. I know how important the library is in the neighborhood, the rec center, the playground to her. That is what I want for every child in our city, and that is what we need. As city controller, I worked with Councilmember Gautier, stood on the streets in West Philadelphia to urge Mayor Kenny to be laser focused on providing services to the neighborhoods with the most violence, providing library, rec, trauma treatment into the 14 zip codes with the most violence out of the 40 in our city. He didn't do that. That's what I will do as mayor.
Alan Dom?
Jemille, you're 19 years old?
That's right.
Your parents must be very proud. I got to tell you, I could not do what you're doing when I was 19, so great job you're doing here. Yeah, you should give them a round of applause. So to answer your question, rec centers, I agree have to be open. Pools have to be open. The Urban Affairs Coalition told me that they fund about 8,000 jobs. We fund in the city, but there's the need for 18,000 jobs of young people. And we should fund those other 10,000 jobs. That's a great investment for us to do. And to take it a step further, Jemille, I would say in my education plan, I want to teach financial literacy, kindergarten through 12th grade. I want to teach financial literacy K through 12, including home ownership, and entrepreneurship K through 12. And then in high school, I want to take a page out of Cristo Rey and ask those students who are interested, optional, go to school 4 days a week, on the 5th day, work in a job, get credit, get paid, get a summer job. In this environment, the employer will probably say, hey, Alan, can you come in Tuesday through Friday after school, 3:30 to 6? And can you come in Saturday and work? We have a labor shortage. You know, the Drexel Co-op program started in 1919 because of a labor shortage. So that's what I would do, and I think it would really help our young people. Cristo Rey, by the way, last year graduated 99% of their students. 100% of those who graduated were admitted to college. Phenomenal results.
All right, Helen Gim.
Yes, thank you very much, Jemille. I am on this stage in part because of the disinvestments that happened under a previous administration. I believe every single mayor before me has turned his back on our public schools or failed to fulfill their promise. I'm here because a former mayor closed down 30 schools, slashed funding for libraries and rec centers, closed down fire stations, and I knew that this city couldn't rise. Tonight, the superintendent of schools announced that 3,600 young people have dropped out of school since September, and calculated that loss at $405,000 per child, a $1.4 billion loss. This is not a youth agenda. This is not an education agenda. This is not a charity agenda. This is about the life and the future of the city of Philadelphia. That's why I have spent all my life devoted to transforming the ways that this city actually invests in and treats its young people. Of course it's going to start with schools, because that's at the very earliest age where we look at a young person, give them the opportunity to succeed. That's why I am talking about a big investment in modernizing new schools inside and out. I'm the only candidate on this stage with a real plan to actually see that through over the next 10 years. I'm a candidate who understands what schools look like inside the classroom and out. That's why I've talked about every school a community school, every school a hub for families, to bring back parent universities, to guarantee safe passages to and from schools, to make sure that young people are valued in their fulfillment of their potential and not just seen as fodder for jobs or this and that and funneled into whatever position some people think that they can be when they are 16 years old. This city has failed to fulfill the potential of young people, and I'm a mayor that's going to take on the full responsibility of that and show how we can actually help our city rise up through our young people and youth.
Thank you. Jeff Brown, what you got to say about that? About the question I heard.
I think I started it, but I'll still add to it. I do think in K through 12, we have a lot of students that have dropped out. In the Project U-Turn, the work I did at Philadelphia Youth Network, we vastly improved graduation rates, and it's among the best it's been. But I have to tell you, the school system is designed half right. Our young people that plan to go to college, we have some good schools, but there's big waiting lists. If Masterman, Central, and Girls High are good schools, we should have 2 of each of them and not have a waiting list. But if you want to go to work with your hands, we don't have much to offer you. Our career and technical education is very inadequate and needs to be rebuilt. I think our kids would not drop out if the education we provided them made sense for them, for their future.
Gotcha. The next question comes from Jamyra Perry of WURD Radio.
Philadelphia is almost 44% black, yet according to the 2023 Pew Trust State of the City report, black Philadelphians are more than twice as likely as their white counterparts to live below the poverty line. What will you do to close that gap, Mr. Dom?
We've had poverty here for 50 years or longer, and I will share with you that some statistics so you understand what we're under right now. Number one, from 2009 to 2018, in the United States, all jobs created that paid less than $35,000, the percentage was 29%. In Philadelphia, the percentage was 60.5. We're producing more than twice, the level of low-paying jobs in our city. When you look at the top 20 employers in Philadelphia, 3 are private sector: Comcast, American Airlines because of the airport, and Allied Security because of the guard service. When you look at jobs that pay $35,000 to $100,000, which we need in our city, we're less than half of our suburban counterparts. Just go look at Conshohocken, Valley Forge, Devon, and King of Prussia. Then when you look at the tax situation for small businesses, entrepreneurs, small businesses, New York City's number 1 at 16.2. We're number 2 at 15.9. Third highest in the country California at 8.8. Boston and Chicago are 7, and we're 15.9. That's one of the problems we need to change, our tax structure. We double tax small businesses, and I know it's a big issue in the black and brown community for entrepreneurship. We need to fix the double taxation.
Jeff Brown.
Yeah, I mean, look at what I've done in my business. 60,000 jobs, many of those young people, their first job, people of color. What we did with returning citizens, these are things that help people out of poverty. But honestly, other people aren't being honest with us. I visited Alan Dom in his councilmatic office and in his real estate business, and I did not see a single person of color there. So he's talking about all these numbers, but what did he do to help people out of poverty?
I'm going to let Alan Dom respond to that real quick. He's basically saying that you're all talk but no walk.
Well, it's not accurate, number one. And number two, I passed the wage tax bill that did the research on the level of taxation of the top 50 cities in our country. And sadly, Philadelphia was at the top at 18.1% of people who made less than $32,000. These are the facts. The other cities that were close, 10 to 14%, were at 18.1. Chicago, Phoenix, New York, LA were 10 to 14. We're at 18.1. I passed a wage tax bill, supported by my colleagues on council, every one of them, that would reimburse lower income people under $32,000, $800 to $1,000 a year, and it would address 60,000 families that are in poverty, 200,000 people. I could give you more examples, but that's probably one of the biggest ones.
All right, Rebecca, as the other white candidate in the race, how do you feel about closing the racial gap, and what do you plan to do in comparison to Mr. Brown and Mr. Dom?
So the issue of increasing black wealth and lifting people out of poverty is an incredibly important one. Sorry, it's interesting that you refer to me. I am the only other white person in this race, but I tend to look at it that I am working for all Philadelphians. My work shows that my work as city controller, and I represent everyone in our city because we're all more alike if we can, come together. On the issue of black wealth, Philadelphia ranks 24th in the country on the number of black-owned businesses, behind other cities such as Charlotte, Baltimore, Atlanta. We need to do better. I put out a plan, it's on my website, RebeccaForPhiladelphia.com, which details what my goals will be. I want to increase the number of black-owned businesses. Right now, it's 3% of the metro area in Philadelphia is black-owned business. The rest is not. That's not okay. I'm going to double it in my first term. What I'm going to do, I'm going to partner as mayor with organizations such as the Enterprise Fund that are providing equity into businesses. I'm going to use city funds, the American Rescue Plan funds, to do this so that we can grow black business, and in turn that will grow black wealth. That's one of the many things that are in my plan to increase black wealth and to increase black prosperity.
Sherelle, what do you think about the things you've just heard from your other fellow candidates running against you?
What I'm thinking is that imitation is the truest form of flattery. Let me start by saying that, one, when folks talk about building black wealth, they don't think about the fact that we live in neighborhoods with corner stores and neighborhood-based businesses that used to be owned by the people who live there, and that is no longer the case. I want you to imagine living in a community where every piece of commerce is controlled by someone other than the people who live there, and all you are consumers in that community. Others will talk about it. The question is, what have you already done? I established a program called Power Up Your Business to provide backroom, technical, legal, accounting, peer-to-peer mentoring support for small businesses. I can't walk through a neighborhood-based commercial quarter in the city without someone saying, thank you for that. We do need to partner and support Della Clark at the Enterprise Center, who has the Innovate Capital Fund, but I want you to understand what it will do. Think about GoPuff, those brilliant Drexel students who came up with a wonderful business model. Guess what? It was a great model, but someone had to hedge a bet. Someone had to be there. Shark Tank investors, private equity, venture capital. Where's that for the black and brown small business community? community. We can support organizations like the Enterprise Center to make it happen. And finally, I have to say this. I want you to think about an agency in the private sector which only views you as an entry-level participant. If it's a corporation and you want to see whether or not diversity, equity, and inclusion matters, look at who's in the C-suite. Who runs the building? Don't tell me about who is the entry-level person. I'm not telling you that those are not important jobs. They are essential, and Lord knows we're going to create them. I had them all of my life. But when you start diversifying your C-suite, and my degree, an awarding degree, from somebody else, they can be equal degrees, then let them be degrees. But put me in the C-suite before you tell me you're coming to save me or the black community.
So, Sherelle, for clarity, please, people, refrain from your remarks. We're trying to have a debate here. Forum. Sherelle, is that directed to Jeff Brown?
That is directed to anyone who comes up with a solution that I will call engaging in. I know what's best for you's people policy making.
That's a yes or no question.
That's general, across the board.
Across the board on this table or across the board in general?
It's across the board with any mayoral candidate who proffers that they have a solution to build generational wealth, and they don't see black and brown people as executives in firms that they are a part of, or they've done nothing to encourage them in other firms that do business in the city.
Got it. I think I'm going to use common sense. Jeff, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah. In Philadelphia, our management team is 50% black. You don't need to see a report. Go in our stores and take a look. We have close to 400 black-owned businesses we incubated. I'm the one on this dais that has been doing it. We have been doing it. The other people have been talking about it.
Okay. Amma, what you got to say about that?
No one in this room, no one that's watching is okay with our current conditions. That's the reality of the situation. We have individuals up here with these bright ideas, and they had the opportunity to do something. But I want to focus on you, Mr. Brown. I have constituents. You talking about equity and what you do for the black communities. Daily, I have constituents that complain about the quality of your services and the difference between a Drexel line or a mainline store and a West Philly store or a North Philly store, even down to the prices of the meat and the quality of the meats. So is that how you view us in the black community? That we don't deserve quality?
Jeff, you can answer that.
Yeah, I'd love to answer that.
Yeah.
We measure customer satisfaction and quality very scientifically, and our stores are among the best in the whole chain. So Ahmed's just making it up, but let me tell you a little something about that. The man turned in petitions, and 2,500 of his 3,500 he made up himself and signed it. This is a guy that you cannot get the truth out of. Nothing he submits is correct, so I wouldn't listen to this either.
You want to respond to that quickly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's stay focused, sir. We're talking about the people that we're trying to, or we're going to serve. How do you really feel about us? That's what we need. We don't need a person who think they are better or only come into a community to take advantage. You have been taking advantage of our communities for decades, and I have a serious problem with that. And you want to talk about things that I have done. Do you really know what I have done for my community? I have broken barriers. I have saved lives. I have gotten people off the street. I have put people in better situations than they have been in. I have given everything off my back to help one person. You wouldn't do that, would you?
All right, no. Helen?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Philadelphia, often referred to as the poorest large city in the country, and I've always been very clear. This is not a city full of poor people. This is a city that keeps its people poor. It is a conscious act, whether we intend it to be or not. And that is why everything has to change. The budgets have to change. The policies have to change. And what I've tried to do is center those things that really need to change the most. It's why I've spent so much time on education and talking about how we need a transformative vision and a real investment instead of paying for things on the back end. It's why I fought to make sure that there are fair labor rights in a city that has a $7.25 an hour minimum wage when right across the river in New Jersey. A starting job for a teenager will be $15 an hour starting in 2024. Meanwhile, Mr. Brown, as head of a lobbying association, rallied against the raising of the minimum wage at the state level, has openly said that he would take down certain laws that were fought for by hundreds of thousands of hourly workers called the Fair Workweek Law that simply guaranteed the right to know your schedule in advance so your life wasn't chaotic. To me, this is what it means to be transformative around poverty, to make sure that that's why I fought so hard, to keep a roof over people's heads, to give people the right to not be evicted on a moment's notice, and to have a system that was just geared towards throwing out 22,000 families every single year. And when we actually did that, when we actually focused on the things that mattered by like keeping a roof over people's head, we built the most successful eviction prevention program in the country. We reduced evictions by 2/3, and people wanted to show and copy what we did here.
Thank you.
Philadelphia has solutions. We have to lean into them.
Thank you. So I have the final question. This group of candidates ranges from having no government experience to over a decade of public service. In 30 seconds or less, what's one unique asset that makes you ready for the top job on day one? We'll start with you, Rebecca Reinhardt.
I'm experienced. I know this city. I have the courage to take on the powers that hold this city back. This city needs a strong leader, and as controller, I fought for what's right. I stood up for the people. I did the audit of the police department. I stood up to the status quo. As mayor, I will make our city safer, cleaner, and fix our schools. Create the city that we all need.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Sherelle, 30 seconds or less, please.
There is no candidate running for mayor of Philadelphia that has the intergovernmental experience and demonstrated track record of delivering for the city of Philadelphia. These are very tough times. We don't need anyone who requires training wheels to do this job. When I get to the second floor, I will leverage federal, state, and local government resources to make our city the safest, cleanest, and greenest big city in the nation that provides access to economic opportunity for all. Thank you.
Helen.
I bring a transformative vision to difficult problems, and I don't believe that status quo politics and is going to be able to deliver that. We can't tinker around the edges in this moment, and we're not going to manage our way through a crisis. We're actually going to have to lead by lifting people up from the ground, and I've been part of community movements that have done it, and I never needed a title to do it. I'm coming to the mayor's office to finish a job I started years ago. It's time for the people to rise and see a different vision of Philadelphia that has all of us at its center.
Thank you. Alan Duncan.
Thank you, Ernest. I bring a different vision to the city because I've served 40 years in the private sector and 7 years in government. And I'm the only one who's had that experience of serving on both sides. And this is all about leadership. This is about bringing people together, checking your ego at the door, bringing people together, giving them the credit, and getting the right results we need for the city in every category. And that's what I will do as the next mayor.
Thank you. Jeff Brown.
Yeah, we've been trying putting city council people in as mayor, and look at the shape we're in. We need a leader and manager. And when Helen says we don't need a manager, because she never managed anything, she doesn't understand. We've had crisis after crisis in this city, and they've been managed horrible because we don't have a good manager. I manage a large unionized workforce. That's exactly what this city is, and I have the endorsement of almost every union in the city. What's that tell you?
A man who belittles Michelle Obama is going to belittle everybody.
I didn't
so let's not
belittle
make
her.
Let's make it clear.
Okay.
This is not where you need to belittle people.
Thank you. Got you. Clearly. Okay. Last but not least, Amir Brown.
Yes. Our city needs a fresh start and a new beginning, and each and every community need access. Far too many communities have been shut out. Far too many families have been shut out from good government. And that's what I represent, access for all people. No matter what you believe in, who you go home to, or who you love, I will be a mayor for everybody. And that's what we need in our city, a fresh start and a new beginning. Thank you.
Thank you. That is all the time we have tonight. Thank you to the candidates for taking part in these important conversations. Ukee, I'm going to send it back to you.
Ernest, thank you very much, and a big thank you to all of the candidates once again, my fellow panelists, the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, and the Every Voice, Every Vote Project. We also want to thank the Museum of the American Revolution for letting us use this beautiful venue. I hope you can stop by and do it very soon. Remember, the primary is Tuesday, May 16th. You can learn more about the candidates and the election at cbsphiladelphia.com. Thank you so much for watching, family. I'll see you tonight for the news at 11. Good night.